In a previous video, I talked about how the church had kind of screwed up my view of money. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, not necessarily directly related to the church, but just kind of like where I'm at, some big mistakes that I've made with money, some things that rather the church or other influences have taught me, different, childhood traumas, things like that. And just like be transparent, because money is one of my weakest points. Honestly, like I'm really, really bad with money. And it's something that I basically said, hey, I am going to fix this. I'm going to get my shit together. I am going to fix my life, because I hit a point where recently I hit pretty rock bottom with money. So let's kind of go into it. I'm not going to get too into the weeds, into the details of kind of how I hit that point, but basically I was over generous. In the church, generosity is praised, not having money is praised. All these kinds of things in the Bible are praised by Jesus, by other figures, things like that. So, that's something I took very much to heart. My parents also were not good with money. They had a tendency to end up in a lot of debt, to overspend, to make choices that were not the smartest. And so I learned all of that as well. But basically, all of this led me into a situation where I am in a lot of debt on my credit cards. I'm just in a lot of debt in general. I don't have a ton of money sitting in my bank account. And that happened really mainly for two huge reasons. One of them money related, one of them less money related. The money related one basically being that little voice in my head saying, generosity is good, generosity is going to be rewarded. Even if I don't necessarily believe in God anymore, that's still something that is like really ingrained in me, is like generosity, generosity, generosity. You can't get poor when you're being generous. God's just going to give back to you. It's going to be amazing. That kind of thing that televangelists like to exploit, that churches like to exploit, that generosity bug. And I was being generous to a lot of actually really good causes, important things, humanitarian efforts, etc., etc. And I got carried away. I got really carried away. I got upset about some injustices happening in the world. And I gave a lot. I gave like stupid amounts of money. And the other reason that happened is I don't have good boundaries in general. I'm not good at saying no. Rather, that's to somebody directly asking me something, or rather that's if, I see a need and see people, not maybe directly asking me, but, asking for help, asking for support. I really struggle with that. And I also, gave some money to friends who promised to pay it back, things like that, and they didn't. And I got screwed in that way because, again, I can't say no. I really struggle saying no when somebody asks for something, especially if I say no the first time and they keep pushing. I really struggle to maintain the boundary. And that really hit me when I looked at my bank account and I go, holy shit, like, I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked financially. And it was like, okay, I need to actually take this seriously. I need to figure out my shit. I need to make some money. And I need to cut these people out of my life. If people won't take no for an answer, I need to, for now, at least cut them out of my life, because for me, like if I struggle to say no, I need the space to practice with people that it's safe to say no with and not get pushed and pushed and pushed. Rather, that's to do an activity, give money, whatever that might be. Kind of the classic examples are have a drink or have a smoke or, whatever. I don't typically have people in my life who are really into that stuff, so it's more do this activity or that activity, or, help out with this, or, do you want to do this or that? And I don't necessarily want to do it, but I sort of feel like I'm pushed into it. And that lack of boundaries especially gets me into a lot of trouble, as you know, especially when you pair it with be generous, be generous, be generous, be generous. That's essential. That's absolutely essential to conquer. Because if I don't conquer that, I am going to be perpetually poor, perpetually stressed, perpetually angry. Because that's something that I've noticed as well. You know, when that bank account starts to go down, my temper will flare the fuck up. I will get my fuse real short, especially with people who maybe pushed me into those financial decisions or what have you, or even with people who maybe want to do something, but I can't afford it, and I get a little bit irritated about it, and they keep, you know, asking, can I do this? And I kind of have to put those boundaries up. But, you know, this is sort of the first time in my life that I've really recognized, holy shit, you have a problem, Brian. You have a very, very, very serious problem that you just don't even take care of your finances at all, and it's going to screw your whole life up. And I don't know if anybody else is in that same boat, if I am just really, really dumb. I won't say really, really dumb. I will say, like, if I've just been really, really programmed with some really, really bad habits. But regardless, now that I've like really woken up to that fact, I'm committing with you guys, my audience, to take way, way better care of my finances, to take way better care of my money, to not be overly generous, which is really weird to say, but you can't be overly generous because then you have no money and then you can't give and you can't work. Like it becomes a vicious cycle of poverty. And I don't want to live in that. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want, you know, to screw up my life in that way. I'm 32 with, you know, very little to show for it because of these awful, awful money habits. I've got a financial advisor now who's helping me out with my budget, all of that kind of stuff. And hopefully I will be able to kind of get through this hump, start paying back that debt, start overcoming. You know, I work for myself, which is a double-edged sword. I'm a professional videographer, so, you know, I can make, you know, 2,500, 3, 4 grand at a project. You know, not all that immediately goes like into my bank account, but, you know, I can make a good chunk of money off of one project. So if I could get 2, 3, you know, pretty good sized projects, I can get myself to a level playing field quite quickly. It's just a matter of buckling down, getting that done, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it was kind of like a, for awkward way to say it, a come to Jesus moment of like, holy crap, like I gotta figure out what is going on, why I keep spending so much. You know, it's my unhealthy money habits mixed with my unhealthy non-ability to say no, with kind of the push of people to be generous. So kind of all those things make a perfect storm that screwed me up. So kind of my assignment for the rest of 2023 and 2024 is to not be generous, which sounds weird. Don't be generous. Don't, you know, if I need to cut people off who have no boundaries with me, who just keep pushing me, and to get really comfortable with money, to spend time thinking about how great money is, what money can do for me, the freedom that money buys me, all of that. So that's kind of my assignments that I'm giving myself for the rest of 2023 and 2024, as well as just like get my budget in line, earn money, get my shit together, and, you know, be able to support myself again. So I just wanted to share that really vulnerable story. You know, feel free to leave comments, be like, you're a dumbass, bro. I know, I totally 100% agree, complete dumbass. But hopefully I've wised up and I can start relearning, rebuilding these habits into much better habits, and everything will be a lot smoother going forward. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next video.